Insperity presents the Small Business Advocate Show with Jim Blasingame, brought to you by FedEx, CareerBuilder.com, and Palo Alto Software. This is a copyrighted production of Small Business Network, Inc., all rights reserved.
Are you reeling in the years, stowing away the time? Are you gathering up the tea?
Little Steely Dan bringing us back, 17 till. I'm Jim Blasingame. Thank you very much for staying with me. Please check out my website, smallbusinessadvocate.com. Having a great visit with our good friend Rob Levin, the publisher and the founder of the New York Enterprise Report, nyreports.com. Right, Rob?
NY Report, no S.
Report. I'm sorry, Report. I always forget that. Take
leave
the
off
S
the
out.
S, last S for super.
There you go. nyreport.com. Hey, Rob, somebody have an anniversary? Did I hear something about that?
This is this year, 2013, is our 10-year anniversary. Isn't that frightening?
I'm giving you a standing ovation, Rob.
Thanks.
Congratulations, 10 years. You know, I'm so proud of you, Rob. I talk about you when you're not here. I'm proud of what you've accomplished. I mean, somebody who starts a business print publication in the 21st century. I mean, first thing you think is, I know what you're thinking, but what you were feeling, but what were you thinking? But you pulled it off, and I'm proud of you. And 10 years, and I know you agree with me. And we just had our 15th anniversary. I tell small business owners all the time, celebrate your milestones. What do you think?
Yeah, we're really excited. We have this really special issue in January. By the way, all the content from that issue is now up on our website. And what we didn't want to look back too much because that doesn't really make for great content. But we got all sorts of people from our readers up to Richard Branson talking about what the next 10 years are going to be like.
Right.
And it's one of the pieces and the issues that I'm most proud about. So, that's one of the ways we're celebrating. We're going to have a party in February, too.
I haven't got my invitation yet, by the way, but I'm sure it's on the way.
Well, we don't have a date yet, so I wanted to wait.
All right, so let's talk. We're talking about how to deal with this velocity of change, how to deal with the fact that we've had 4 years of uncertainty, and unfortunately, and Rob, I'm trying not to be the bearer of bad tidings, but people like you and me have to call it like it is. We're still in an era of uncertainty, aren't we?
Yeah, and I don't think this era of uncertainty is going away. I think at some point maybe the economy will pick up, and it'll sort of lessen the effect. But the change that's going on in business is not just driven by the economy. It's driven by, and we've spoken about this before, how people buy, how people are managed, technology, globalization, which is really going through some interesting changes now where, people who were getting products made overseas are now saying, you know what, it might be better for me to make them here.
Yep.
So there's an interesting, there's always some change going on.
There's an interesting repatriation of manufacturing jobs to America, isn't there?
There is. And
technology is helping with that, by the way.
Technology has, and of course the rising cost of labor in those developing countries, still considered China a developing country, is part of it. But there's, when you look at in terms of what we were talking about before the break about buying taking longer and commitments being shorter, I think businesses really have to think about, well, how does this affect me and what can I do about it? And I don't have all the answers. I have a few ideas, really based on observations, not only by myself but by a lot of our readers who are dealing with this. And again, they're not all the answers, but one of the things that you have to start with is to realize, we just said this problem and this trend is not going away, and it's going to probably get worse before it gets better. The people are going to make smaller and smaller commitments. So you have to just first accept that, because if you keep thinking, well, it's going to change next quarter, you're kidding yourself and you're delaying making other important decisions.
Mm-hmm.
So that's I think the first thing you have to do, and then the next thing, which
so that is, and so what that does though is that ripples through your business model. It ripples through your stocking model. It ripples through your hiring, your human deployment of human assets. It ripples through your technology. It ripples through your cash flow. It impacts that one thing. People taking longer to decide and committing for less time, all of that, customers, I should say, all that impacts your relationship with your banker.
You're absolutely right.
And it also impacts, and you've discovered this, I've discovered this, it also adjusts. One of the things you have to do then is you have to be prepared for that when you're negotiating the contract with these people. Because if they're gonna do what we just said, then they need to pay you quicker.
That's right.
And they're not wanting to do that these days either.
No,
so
if anything,
you got to be specific about that, don't you? You
do. I mean, that's a term, just like how many widgets they're buying. The payment terms is just as crucial. Is just as crucial as any other term in that you're negotiating with them. If anything, maybe it's more crucial. And if you can, try to even get paid up front for part of it. You're going to have some hard costs. People realize that.
Right.
And, at the same time, you may have to walk away from certain deals.
That's exactly right.
You may have to, and I think you mentioned this to some degree on the previous segment, but you may have to walk away from certain deals.
Insperity presents the Small Business Advocate Show with Jim Blasingame, brought to you by FedEx, CareerBuilder.com, and Palo Alto Software. This is a copyrighted production of Small Business Network, Inc., intended for the private use of our audience. Except as otherwise provided by copyright law, all other copying, redistribution, or publication without prior written consent is prohibited. All rights reserved.